Well, hey there, everybody. Guess what? It's that time of the week again. I am here, as per usual. I am Dan Edge, with my lovely podcast wife, and I'm pointing in the wrong direction, I think, because camera's mirror. She's over that side. Maybe she's over that side for you. I don't know. But either way, I am joined by my lovely podcast wife, Samantha Renke. How are you doing, my dear?
Oh, hello. Do you know what? We both had a bit of a moan before coming on here. We are both a little bit disheveled. I am absolutely exhausted, and I'm having a real one of them days where I'm like, if I sit and think too long, I might burst into tears.
Oh, no.
Just one of them where everything, just little things have gone wrong today. And my bedroom, you can probably see behind my bedroom, I feel like I'm like a teenager. Like, I'm quite anal about being like tidy. Mm-hmm. And my whole flat is just absolutely turned upside down. Now, I'd like to say that's because I have actually been really busy with work commitments.
I'm sure it is. That's what we'll say.
Great. No, which is really, really great. But yeah, I've had one of them. I'm sure people in, similar situations, if you have a disability, you kind of have those low days where you actually think, if you live independently, you think, oh my God, am I put out for actually living on my own independently? I had one of the moments where I was like, this is just too hard. It'd be so nice just to have someone just to kind of give me a little bit of a helping hand down again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I even had a bit of a bitch on Twitter, which is very unlike me. Damn, really
It is. What were you? I even missed that. I feel like but I've not been on Twitter because I've been dealing with other stuff. But
it's a completely first world problem. But the more I think about it, I feel like I've got a legitimate, bugbear that I need to voice. So I've been super, super busy, which is lovely. Did a mixture of kind of work for charity, kind of podcasts, some paid, some not paid, really just, like a variety of, really great opportunities.
Yep, definitely.
Fantastic. And I think when you're juggling a lot of different people and you've got an agent, first of all, my biggest bugbear is people contacting me on social media and completely trying to avoid the agent.
Indeed, yeah.
Either because they don't want to pay you, or they don't read your profile, which says, please contact my agent. Now,
I know.
Anything bougie, my agent takes money for doing things.
He gets paid
why
for
am I doing things and then paying my agent? So that's
exactly.
Bugbear.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, using photos of me for their promo, first of all, without running it by me, and literally just randomly grabbing pictures from the internet from 9-10 years ago. Now, some people go, oh, shut up, why are you being so shallow? But again, I have had some very beautiful, you were with me, Dan, some wonderful, up-to-date headshots.
Indeed.
From our lovely photographer friend, Nikki Johnson.
Indeed, Life DownLow'ed's official photographer, Nikki Johnson.
He is. So you kind of you spend money on headshots. I mean, to be fair, Nikki gave them those for free because he's my mate. In the past,
don't say that.
I know. But in the past, if you work in the creative industry, headshots don't come cheap.
No, they really don't. I need new ones.
You kind of want to be seen in your best light, and maybe some of the old photos, you can't control what's out there. You can't control what's out in the media, so to speak, which is fine. People might get stills from TV or whatever. But I think if you actively are working with somebody, ask them for a bio and ask them for a headshot.
Exactly.
At least so that they feel comfortable with. I have to say, working with Scope as an ambassador, they were always extremely brilliant at any photo that they used of me, whether I attended one of their events, they always ran it by me. Because sometimes, you don't always look that flattering.
No.
And I don't think people should, feel guilty for wanting to look their best.
No.
Can you imagine any of these reality stars and, they'd be the first to kick off If you
most
had
definitely.
a picture of them looking less than 100% perfect. But I think also, it goes back to consent on a serious note, and it goes back to, you don't know whether that picture will trigger any negative thoughts, negative, feelings from a time that, maybe you didn't feel as confident. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, I just think I think people can just be a little bit, I don't know. Is it unprofessional? Maybe unprofessional.
Well, like you say, the whole agent thing, I understand because, like you say, we pay our agents money. Our agents are there for a reason, and it's because, especially somebody in your position, mine too, but you do a lot more media-y type stuff than I do. You're in demand from a lot of people. So the agent is there so that you're not spending all your time sifting through emails, dealing with contacts. That's what we pay our agents to do.
That's what I'm finding is really draining me at the moment, and I can physically feel my body, aches and pains. I mean, the weather doesn't help, but all fractures are now, kind of going, oh, remember me, I was fractured 2 years ago, and I'm still going to be a bastard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, that exactly having someone to filter things, to deal with things on my behalf, isn't about being a prima donna or a diva. It's simply like it's actually really, really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of traffic through.
It's the same for non-disabled talent, but even more so for disabled talent, in the fact that we've got limited energy, a lot of us. So to have somebody go, I'm going to take care of that bit is quite nice. So yeah, I totally get the whole agent thing, for sure. Just so we know, Daniel Melville, who we've had on the podcast before, creator of Funky Prosthetics, just popped in to say hi. So hi, Dan. He popped in to say hi because, as always, we're live on Life DownLow'ed. So he popped in to say hi, and he's currently in the media because he's got a shiny new arm based on a computer game. So keep your eye out for Daniel in the media at the moment, especially if you're a gamer. I was tweeting him about it this morning. So yeah, keep your eye out for him. But yes, he's still here. There we go. He's still here. He's still watching.
Hanging on every word, I assume. Hanging on my moaning, whinging words of the day.
But yeah, no, like for the work stuff I get, and just having somebody to support you, I get. I mean, I live with family, and there's still days where I go, even though I live with family, and they're really supportive. Where I go, my God, if I was on my own, how would I do this?
Yeah.
So totally get that. Totally.
I booked I'm going to be going home for Christmas and probably up until my birthday, which is on the 16th of January, if anyone would like to send me a gift. But I'm going to go back to, I know, right? I'm going to go back to Lancashire just because I genuinely feel like I need a little bit of mummy love. You need your mummy to be, to look after you and cook for you, which is fantastic.
Nothing wrong with
my train tickets. And then I was like, oh my God, where's my disability rail card, my disabled rail card?
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh shit. So this is why my bedroom's upside down. So I was looking for it. So it has expired. Now, disability rail card is just a lifesaver because not only does it give you a really good deduction in price, I think it's like 33%, but also if you're travelling with someone, it gives them a reduced fare, which is fantastic.
Indeed. So if you've got a PA or a carer, that kind of person in that kind of role, they can travel with you. It's super.
Which makes complete sense because it's that whole thing of your PA might not want to travel with you, but it's a necessity.
Indeed.
It's even with the getting the CEA card to go to the cinema. Your PA might not want to go to the cinema with you, but you want to go to the cinema, and that's the whole point.
And you can't get there without their support. Yeah.
Exactly. So I had to go and order a new one online, and then they asked me because I'm in receipt of personal independent payment, and that is one of the criteria. Then I was like, oh, where is that? Where is it? Where is it? So I went into my cupboards where all my paperworks are. I had to like lean to pull something down from a very high shelf, and of course, just everything, papers galore, just fell on top of me. And then the cats were crying because they wanted food, and I was like, "Can we start this day over again? This is serious. This is like being disabled problems." Having to find all your paperwork to prove that you have a disability.
Yep, the constant battle to prove that you are disabled enough is one I could rant about all day. But it's a case of, it's something we have to do. I'd rather not do it, I'm not going to lie. But question is, because I renewed my rail card recently, have you moved, and this is me being a real techie, but have you moved? You have. So
I know exactly what you're going to say.
So you now have the Railcard app. By the way, we're not paid to advertise this.
No, we're really not. Although, if you are listening, Railcard people, you've not yet said that I'm getting one yet. So if you're listening, can you maybe give me some more money off it? Like, maybe.
Indeed. But yeah, no, you've switched to the app as well. So.
Yeah, so I asked for it to be electronic, which will be very snazzy. So I'm assuming you keep that in your wallet on your phone.
There's an actual separate Railcard app. So you download the Railcard app. They haven't put it into the wallet yet, which I think, if you are listening, Railcard people, is something you should do for iPhones at least. Not sure how Android works. But yeah, you've got a Railcard app, and you download that and it comes in there.
And I also got my tickets now because Virgin isn't Virgin anymore. It's something with a really weird name.
It is. And I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I don't know. Weird name people. They have now given an option for your tickets to be on an email. So,
right.
Is there any way of them putting them in the wallet or not? Do you just need to find the email?
Well,
I think it's a bit annoying.
Well, you see, I generally... Here you go, you're getting all my travel advice now.
Yeah, I need it.
I would just like to point out, while we talk about these companies, other companies are available, True BBC.
Hey. We're not going to even talk about other companies. When people stop paying us, then we'll be a bit more broader, but you know what I mean?
Indeed. But I actually use the Trainline app. You know trainline.com?
How can you reserve a wheelchair space? You can't.
That's a very valid point, but I generally don't.
Well, aren't you a risk taker?
I am, yeah. It's in my nature. Sometimes to my detriment.
This is why I have to ring up. I'm just gonna call it Virgin because it'll always be Virgin. I don't know the new company. I have to ring up their assistance helpline, so they book the tickets and the assistance and the wheelchair space. They do it all for you. Because if I were to go, and this has happened to a few of my friends who are wheelchair users. They've gone on to Trainline, which is really cheap, where you can get really bargains.
Yeah.
But then what they've done is they've assumed that they can just rock up and the wheelchair space would be available. Yeah. But then on a normal train, there's only 3 wheelchair spaces.
Which is a travesty in itself. That's a whole podcast in itself.
And so if someone else is on there, then you're absolutely screwed. So you might have just paid a ticket and they will not let you on. Like literally, they will not let you on. It's not like you can kind of stand near the toilet for the whole journey because of health and safety. They just won't let you do it. So that is a complete flaw in the whole booking online system.
It is.
I don't know. Do you think that is because people will abuse it and they will book the wheelchair space for all their luggage?
I don't know, because I don't know, because, I generally use my chair, but I think you can reserve normal seats on Trainline. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote.
But I tried to click on the wheelchair space on their website, and it's got an X through it.
Oh.
It's like, no, you can't. It shows it on the picture.
Yeah.
But it basically says, no. And maybe it is so that people don't abuse.
Yeah, so that they don't book the wheelchair space.
Fair enough, but then equally, you would have thought they'd come up with some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, we have to give our pip to go. Yes, we can have the rail card.
Yeah,
there should be a system to say yes, we can have the wheelchair space. But in turn, having not booked the wheelchair space on some occasions, some very nice train guards have sort of gone, just go sit in first class. Off you go.
I've had that before.
So that's quite nice. But then I went on a train the other day because I was doing some work stuff with actual people, not like online, not Zooming, but actual people in an actual place. I had to travel to that theatrical centre of Leicester.
Lovely. How is Leicester?
It was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
Because I was doing some work at the university there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit more with our listeners?
Oh yeah, it's nothing too exciting. Well, nothing. when I say nothing too exciting, it's not like I'm gonna, have to sign NDAs or somebody's gonna come after me if I don't talk about it.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So sorry for the email sound. I just got some random email. I'm gonna mute that now.
I don't know how to do this. I'm so rubbish at technology. How do you do that? I bet everyone's really loving this podcast.
Yeah, Dad gives tech advice to Sam.
Yes, I'll probably just mute myself by accident. So I'm not going to switch anything actually.
Yeah, all you have to do is tell, because you're on a Mac, aren't you? Tell Siri to set Do Not Disturb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Siri?
You have to say, hey Siri.
Oh, hey Siri. Oh, it went on my phone, not on my thingy.
There is a little Siri button, but we won't get into depth on that. But
turn on Do Not Disturb, Siri.
Okay, I've turned on Do Not Disturb.
Yay!
So there you go. Now you won't get any notification. Adam Pearson has just popped in. He says this is the best episode ever. I don't know if that's a compliment or he's just got a really low bar.
Oh, someone's calling. I can't pick that up.
Somebody's calling.
Why do people think that I literally don't do anything? I get so many people just like random, constantly calling me. I'm like, you do know I actually work and do actually do stuff with my life. Normally it's my mother who knows full well that I am pretty busy, yet she'll call sporadically.
Of course you will. But that's like a mum's prerogative, isn't it, really? My nan is the same. Like, I live with my mum, so my mum doesn't need to call me, but my nan is the same. She'll just randomly call me at 10 o'clock at night.
We love them, obviously. We love them dearly. But yeah, please, woman, behave. And also, I think I also need to do, which is another, I'm really getting it off my chest today, aren't I?
You are, yeah.
So everyone gets my last name wrong, and that was probably a call from, it was a TV show I've worked on recently, and normally they call, we're just checking how to pronounce your name.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I need to do like a little, I don't know, a tutorial.
Public service announcement.
However, LinkedIn have actually now put a little, I don't know, a little option for you to record how your name is pronounced.
Well, I think that's good. See, this is becoming a very techie podcast. I
like it.
Yeah, I think that's good because...
Oh, that was sexy.
It was. Excuse me, everybody.
I've run out of tea.
Oh, no. But yeah, no, pronouncing somebody's name is cool because, people do have wide and varied names. So if you can start off on the right foot and go, this is how my name's pronounced, please pronounce it this way. It's the same as people with different pronouns, isn't it? If people want to use a particular pronoun, state it from the offset, and then hopefully everybody's civil enough to get it right.
Exactly. Well, I did have, when I worked with the lovely Eamon Holmes on Talk Radio,
yes,
I did have him going, well, that's stupid. Why do you have to pronounce the E? That's stupid. Just don't do it. So Eamon thinks my last name is stupid, and I should just not knock off the E on the end.
Oh, so you've either got to knock off the E, or you could do a Prince and just become like Samantha and just have one name.
Samantha.
Just have
or
one
name. The Renke. I always say the Renke.
Well, you do have the Daily Renke on Twitter.
I really do.
And Instagram, I should say.
Instagram. I do. And actually, you know what? I'm a little bit of a segue. Talking about bitching and moaning. I posted about whining and me feeling like like sometimes as a woman with a disability, I feel like I'm whining a lot, and it comes across as whining. Now today I hold my hands up. A lot of what I talked about today is proper whining. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm due on my period. I hate everyone. I hate everything. So today is a proper self-indulgent whine fest.
Fair enough. It's our podcast. We can party if we want to.
Exactly. But I wrote about whining because I did some filming the other day, and this is hand on heart, not a criticism of the production company or the people that filmed. They were great. I absolutely love filming like you. It was nice to be around like actual people, even though we're all separated and masked and had our own water bottles with our names on it. It was very, very COVID safe.
COVID secure.
But, I had to take my friend, Max Barber, who's a producer and director, but he's a very close friend of mine, because my PA wasn't working. And even though they told me that the studio was accessible, I knew it wasn't going to be accessible for me. I just knew it. And I didn't want to struggle. It was a 4-hour shoot. And I just knew that I didn't want to have that anxiety-inducing feeling when I'm off to work.
No, obviously, nobody wants to be anxious.
It was a very spacious, quite an old building. It was only around the corner. Even though they said the taxi could be dropped off right outside, kind of didn't work out that way, and I wouldn't have been able to get because there was no drop curb. And then into the building, the ramp was like a piece of just like what's it called? Cement, like really.
Oh, concrete.
Yeah, concrete. There you go. Like concrete inside there was ramps, but they were literally, I think even you would struggle getting up and down. It wasn't comfortable, even with someone holding me. It was like, there we go, we'll stick a load of slab of concrete and that'll be a ramp, which are like 3 foot, so which means it's like this steep. Anyway, and one of the production team said to me, it was a real nightmare for them to find an accessible venue. And straight away, I thought inside, oh my God, they must have really been bitching about having to find this studio, and it probably cost them more money, the production team. And I'm sure there'll be someone out there going, why the fucking hell do we have to go and get disabled people? This is too much. This is speculation.
Of course.
Again, they may never have said that, but in my own mind, because I've been brought up to feel like I'm a nuisance or a burden. And it prompted me to write a post a little bit about, how I suppose when we internalize these feelings of being a burden, that even though I know that I'm not, and I know that I was absolutely fantastic on that panel, and I was definitely an asset to their filming, So, but that inner child straight away was like, oh my God, I felt uncomfortable, and it's that whole thing of disabled people should be allowed to whine and moan, particularly, when you can use that to educate people and to come up with a solution.
Yeah,
does
definitely.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think we actually should be encouraged to really say what crap we have to face.
Yeah. It's about aware. It's that horrible word, isn't it? It's awareness.
Awareness. Be aware. Be aware.
Be aware. In other words, listen to people that know what they're talking about. And sadly, our industry is not very good at that at the moment. It's going through a very bad phase of that at the moment.
Yeah.
With the witches from Warner Brothers upsetting people with limb difference.
Yes.
And
can you explain just quickly what that is, just in case no one has heard of it?
Okay, so most people have probably heard of a book called The Witches by Roald Dahl. It's been made into a new film starring Anne Hathaway. And the bad characters, bad guys, bad people of the film are witches. In Roald Dahl's book, he talks about them having clawed hands, so on and so forth. In turn, the creatives making that film decided that they wanted to make the hands look like people that may or may not have limb difference. And there's lots of disabled people with limb differences that are missing fingers or whatever else, and said, this is now going to make kids scared of people like me because you've made this choice when they had claws which could have been really long nails or anything of that description. So
and it's a bit of a cheap sellout, isn't it, really?
it is. And it's, it's the thing of using disability as a villain, which is a character trope that's used over and over and over and over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, as a disabled actor, I would like to play a villain, but the difference is I do not want to play a villain that is necessarily a villain because of my impairment. I just want to play a villain because he's a bit of a shit. There's nothing to do.
Absolutely. And I think also they use facial scarring as well to depict evil, which is another, kind of stereotypical, quite damaging view.
Facial differences, limb differences, physical impairments generally are used for villains or victims. But that's a different conversation. And the lovely Adam Pearson is here. He says his mum comes into his room to put laundry on the radiator while he's doing webinars.
Good mommy. Oh, I love that.
He's also using a soundbite. I don't know what a soundbite he's using, but we'll charge you for it later. And he also.
What are you doing? You can't do that. That's copyright.
And he also is bringing up the example of Emmerdale at the moment, which I know you wanted to talk about because we were talking about it briefly before the podcast, and the fact that they're looking at running a storyline about a couple who become pregnant with a child with Down syndrome, and the fact that they decide not to keep said child, I believe. I haven't followed it closely, so please fill in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch television, which is, I probably shouldn't say that, since that's my career path, but I genuinely don't. It's like that episode from Friends when he's doing an interview for Soap Reader Digest, and the last question is, so which soap do you like? He's like, soap? I've got a life. I've got a life, I don't watch TV. However, I have heard about it. My cousin Georgina has Down syndrome. I know a lot of amazing families with kids with Down syndrome, Sally Phillips, which is a close friend of both of us. And I actually spoke about this on the panel that I did the other day. And it was an interesting one because I think that, stories are there to be told, and there will be people out there in this situation. And, the producers of Emmerdale have said that, it's their kind of responsibility to represent, and tackle really challenging subjects, subjects that are taboo. Get it, 100% get it. My bugbear is, and I'm sure Adam will agree with me on this one, because it's very similar to the whole thing of using non-disabled actors for disabled roles. Until we live in a world where there is enough authentic, positive representation on our screens, then these types of stories are so damaging. Because actually, if we had more people like us, on TV, or
I'm available. I'm available.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. If we had more people with disabilities in general on television, in radio, in our schools, in our universities, across the board, within society, and people, would not turn around and go, I don't know anyone disabled. They'll actually go, oh yeah, my mate Bill, or
I've never met Bill.
Yeah. but you know what I mean? Until that day, people still have such a narrow-minded view of disability that actually, that could sway somebody from making a decision that they might not. I'm not going to say bad decision, good decision. I'm not going to go down that route.
Personal choice.
It's personal choice. But they may have a better picture, a more authentic, true-to-life depiction of what it's like to live with an impairment, and then they can make a really informed decision on what to do. Does that make? I mean, I don't know. Am I?
No. That makes perfect sense to me. And I mean, Adam's just put in the comments. I'm sure he won't mind me reading it out because that's what he's put it in the comments
Adam.
for. Yeah, and it's Adam. I know he's been following this quite closely because we've spoken about it, and he said they only consulted with ARC, which is a charity that focuses on termination, and that's where he finds it problematic in the fact that's the case. He finds it problematic that they consulted with that charity rather than a wide variety of people to inform their storyline. And I think that's also a fair and valid point. You know, the more people you consult with, the more rounded your storyline becomes.
Absolutely.
And you can tell, hopefully, a more rich and more rounded story. If you still end up in the same place for whatever route the story was going down, fair enough. But if it's about, like Adam says, if it's about balance and it's rounded, then it's probably more true to life because you will get both sides of the coin, so to speak.
Absolutely, and I think it is that whole thing, you know, nothing about us without us, and you also need to talk to people who have got Down syndrome and to ask having a storyline like this, what effect that may have also. Because I know that if it was a storyline on aborting a child with broken bones, I would psychologically find that really quite hard.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, if I'm absolutely honest, like that would really hit the nerve.
Yeah, and if it was CP for me, I think I'd be in a similar boat.
And I also think it's a little bit, again, there are people going through this.
Yeah.
You've got to detract from that.
No, not at all.
The difference between a disability is, you know, disabilities can be detected in the womb early on, but you can't detect things like sexuality, you know, other kind of unique traits of people. You know, like you can't do that. So it would be like having a storyline saying, like, your baby will be gay in the future. What would you want to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean that's a.
And I think this is why it's so unfair for people with disabilities to share a story like that, because we're the only, you know, group that could be so targeted in that way. You know,
at the moment, at least.
Yeah.
At the moment, and that's, you know, going back to Adam's work, and I plug this far too often for you, Adam. So don't get too, you know, big-headed and egotistical about it. But that goes back to Adam's infamous eugenics documentary. Because, you know, at the moment, yes, we can screen for disabilities, but there's arguments to screen for other things. Do we want to go down that route? But that's a whole different podcast.
Sorry, my baby's here. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Come on. Keep talking.
See, so we've now gone from Emmerdale to eugenics, and now Sam's gone off to, for those of you that are listening and not watching live, Sam's now gone off to find the cat. You never know what you're going to get on Life DownLow'ed. You really don't. Oh, there it is. There is Sam's cat. He's well balanced.
Come here with mommy. Oh, he's scratching my nipple.
Oh.
Oh. Hiya.
There's Bruno.
Hiya,
there he is.
Oh,
there he was.
Oh, that really hurt. Really hurt.
Are you okay?
Oh, where have I gone?
I didn't catch that. Could you?
See,
I'm back.
You're all back.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Where's the heart? Just went.
Adam still thinks.
On a lighter note,
yes.
You know, I have become. I'm a massive Buffy fan, and lockdown has kind of made me fall back in love with Buffy. So
with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bit Buffy cuckoo at the moment. And then look what I found. I don't know if you can see them. For my Christmas tree.
Oh, Buffy decorations.
Buffy decorations, Buffy decorations.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one's upside down. There you
Are you
go.
impressed?
Buffy the Vampire Christmas tree decorations.
Yay!
What more could you want?
I'm not sad, you are.
And it's only November. But
Almost Christmas shopping.
Adam genuinely thinks this utter chaotic roundabout the houses, anything can happen episode is the best one we've ever done. I don't know what this says about us.
I don't know, but that really hurt. I've got a nail in my bosom.
Oh dear.
That really hurt.
For those
getting his testicles chopped off tomorrow.
Oh no, that's probably a good and a sad day for a cat. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm sat here in aching pain with you, Bruno.
Achy pain.
I am empathising.
I've got a tooth extraction at the dentist in the afternoon. So tomorrow is going to be a really, really fun day.
Wow, everybody's going to be sore in your house.
Yeah, I know. It's really upsetting. I do feel like alcohol will be drunk tomorrow.
Oh dear.
Yeah. The alcohol is going to come out. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Although it's been fun, I do have to prepare for another podcast in an hour.
You're cheating on us again.
I know, and I actually want to make a bit of an effort. You love how I don't make any effort for you guys, but I actually think I need to put makeup on or something for this other one, because there's actual important people gonna be. No, joking.
I am heartbroken. No.
I love you all dearly.
She loves us all dearly. Amy says hi. Amy's here. She says hi.
Hi.
How
are you, my love? Hope you're well.
But yeah, so Adam and Daniel are loving this episode. Amy says hi.
Fab.
You're now gonna go cheat on me with another podcast.
Yeah, well, I've got an hour. I just kind of wanted to, sit and not have to speak for a good hour.
No, I totally understand that, my dear. And if I know you, your bladder's just about full anyway.
It actually is. It's like clockwork. It is like clockwork.
We literally run this podcast to the contents of Sam's bladder. Every episode. So guys, do you know what? Before Sam needs to dash to the toilet, this has been a crazy episode of Life Downloaded, with cats and Emmerdale and rail cards and technology. We've covered everything. God knows what we're going to call this episode. Answers on a postcard or in the Twitter comments, Periscope comments.
Something about Bruno's testicles.
Something about Bruno's testicles. Okay, that's probably going to be the name of this podcast. That's going to be the name of this podcast. Something about Bruno's testicles. It's like the Dodgy Cat sequel to Something About Mary.
I'm going to take a picture of them before they go. Is that weird?
That's up to you. I'm not getting involved.
Is that like animal cruelty? No, that's not weird, is it?
No, well, I don't know. I've never had the urge to take photos of a cat's testicles before.
Leave it there.
Cat people, answers on a postcard. Should Sam... in fact, I might even put it on the Life Downloaded Twitter feed. Should Sam take pictures of her cat's testicles before they're lopped off tomorrow? Well, I'll tell you what. What you should do, we should make that a poll on the Instagram. You've got the Instagram, love. Put it.
I'm not going to do it anyway. I just won't tell anyone.
Put it as a poll on the Instagram. So, guys, seriously, I don't know where we are right now.
I need to go. I'm going.
But Sam needs to go. We love you all. Take care of yourselves. Look after one another. And we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
See you later, everybody.